Welcome, lovelies, to the Scrumptious Woman. After a bit of a break in the summer break, I have with me the most incredible lady, Sevda. I am so happy to have you on board. We met in a beautiful group about AI photos, and there was just something about your energy that drew me in. So welcome. I'm excited to have you on
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
So as I explained earlier on, to you when we had a few moments, I never really ask anyone questions beforehand. We don't prepare. It's like, let's just see where the energy takes us. So tell me, there was a lot about your story that spoke to me. First of all, you are a creator, you're a poet. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
A lot of people tell me my stories about like Stephanie. So if you know the goddess, the queen of the underworld, that's probably why I'm very drawn to the darkness because my life has been a lot like Persephone. So, I'm not going to get into what, like, I was left in hospital at birth. By the time I was 3, I'd had 100 foster homes.
By the time you were how old? You'd had 100 foster homes. Okay, I'm getting goosebumps here. So I'm just slowing you down here because for you, this is probably a really normal story. But for listeners, I'm also going to just say, like, guys, my touch base signal, put your thumb and your pointer finger together. Just focus on that. If there's anything that starts to trigger you in this episode, just remember you can always come back.
And I then ended up in foster care that ended up being adoption, but it wasn't a quick thing. It was like from 3 to 12.
Wow. And those are
And the people I didn't want to adopt me, let me just say that.
you were, yeah. So from
And then,
12, you were with a family who wanted to adopt you and you didn't want to be there.
but yeah, because my real dad wanted me. My real mum had a mental health issue. He was fighting for me, but nothing. There's nothing about race, but it is about this family. So that they were white and I'm Turkish, and they were very racist. Just going to put that there. And so I walked out the house at 13 and thought, fuck this. And then I went into the adult industry, and that was a lot of my life until the 30 something years I did that job. And I will say that job is helped me actually. Funny enough, people will not expect what I'm going to say. Helped me to find myself, helped me to love myself, helped me to love my body as a plus size woman. Might sound a bit weird, and another thing is probably not always expected that my clients I had bread and butter regulars that I can't highly say enough about. And they weren't these bad men. It's actually one of my clients who said to me, "Oh my God, you need to go and help people. Yeah, yeah." And like, most of my work was like a sex therapist.
And so often it is, right? When we talk about, I mean, I know that that's one of the points that we connected on. I used to be pro dom, and
Right.
that is what we do. We're like therapists
We're like therapists.
because they come, men, women, whoever it was. I help more with the trauma side, sexual trauma side, but they come to us because there's something lacking in their lives.
Yeah, excitement or people are, they've been, no, I've seen men who've been married for 17 years, haven't had sex for 10,
Yeah.
but they don't want to leave their wife because they love her.
And the funny things, because I've worked with couples that haven't had sex for 23 years. And that's one of the questions I do ask them when I'm with them. I'm like, is it both of you? Is it one of you? Is there actually a physical problem? And one of them has had a physical problem. And they've started talking about it. It's like, hey, should we get a surrogate? Should we make sure that that you get your needs met, or that both of us do this outside our marriage because physically we can't with each other. And I think when you can bring that kind of connection, that kind of detail to any kind of marriage, then you're really setting yourself up for
Yeah.
success. And knowing that the physical side is one side of how you connect.
Yeah. And you need to have intimacy.
But I love what you're talking about as a plus size woman. I have been a plus size woman. At the moment, I'm not a plus size woman, which I'm like lost a lot of weight. But yeah,
So I have been 6 stone. I've been 50 stone, and I'm nowhere near that at all anymore. And I'm happy here because it's natural. I don't have to in a sense. I'm not on a diet. I eat what I like. I eat healthy food. I'm healthy because when I go to the doctors, they're but you've got a blood pressure of 20, your cholesterol's 3. Like, is it
Amazing.
because I eat healthily? I'm Turkish. I've had 5 kids. Like, I'm not, I'm not
But that's
slim.
it, right? And but that's this is the whole thing, the judgment that people have
Mm.
on people with bigger, with smaller, with older, whatever.
If you're underweight, people say, "Oh, you don't eat enough," and we don't know what they're eating. They might eat. I know naturally thin people who could sit and eat 9 bars of chocolate and probably wouldn't put a pound on. And then there's some people just look at food. I don't actually put weight on anymore, I would say. I maintain my weight, and that's why I chose to stay here. I've also went through the whole eating disorders count like work, and I would choose to love myself the way I am because it's easy for me to be at this way and maintain it and feel how I love myself. I love my big bum. If you don't like it, then I mean, when I was in sex work, I was a bit like the BBW, like BBW. That was my. And what interests me when I talk to women about when I've been a sex worker, they can't believe that there was a queue of men wanting to work with BBW women. It's a lie that you've been conditioned to believe that men don't like women who've got curves. It's just bullshit.
Completely. I remember visiting my brother in South Africa and I had lost my diet journey. I've been sexually abused quite a few times. And that's one of the ways that we also hold on to weight to protect ourselves. So I remember seeing him and I hadn't seen him in like 10 years. And he's like, wow, what happened since your wedding? You've lost a bit of weight. I'm like, yeah, I've had 4 kids that ballooned up and I've gone back down again. And he's like, yeah, but here in South Africa, they actually like people with a bit of bum, and at least you still have the boobs. And I just looked at him like, hey, stop projecting on me. It's like you can have your preferences, and this
Yeah, there's nothing wrong, but this thing that only men like thin women is also wrong, and women need to understand that's not true. You can find somebody if you're whatever size you are, whatever color, whatever race, you can find somebody
com-
if that's what you're looking for.
completely, completely. So tell me your shift. So you helped men, and now it kind of feels like you're helping to empower women as well.
Yeah, I feel like even though I am into dark luxury, I also feel like something brewing in me that it's going to be a lot to do with dark luxury and plus size women because I feel like a lot of plus size women don't feel confident.
Completely.
And I say, fuck that. You got to be sassy, sexy, hot, and be plus size.
Completely. And but that's the thing, right? I remember when I was a size 24 UK, which is I think what 28 no 22 in the States. It's 2 sizes back or 20 or so in the States. Much bigger. It was impossible to find things that looked good. You'd buy things because they fit. It's not
But you
necessarily
know, like
suit you.
with Shein and like Atos, you can even go to Etsy and get, I love handmade clothes. That's me. Like you can go to Etsy and get everything made for you. It's not that expensive anymore.
Completely. But I remember after I had 4 kids in under 3 years' time, so my weight, I just ballooned. Every pregnancy, I put on 25 kilos and I didn't quite
Yeah.
lose them. And I wasn't that thin to start with. But I remember as I was, eating healthy, going to the gym, I had a personal trainer. I really put 2 years of my time to really, it's like, okay, I need to get healthy because I had these twin babies that I was carrying up the stairs and I actually just physically couldn't. I had
I had twins as well. Oh
I had
my,
2 boys and then I had twin girls. You see how the parallel is? So it's like, okay, I need to do something. But I remember as I was losing it and I still felt like a beached whale. And then I remember going to this burlesque dance class. I'm like, let me just try and do something. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're so magnetic. And I'm like, I don't see myself that way. So it's not only, I would say, people that are plus size, but it's a lot of people who've been bigger.
and feel like, yeah, there's a lot with that as well.
Mhm.
I definitely think there's a lot around that. I mean, I'm going to be absolutely transparent. Sometimes still buy clothes that's a bit too big and it isn't necessarily that I don't know. It's that which size do I buy? The one that's a little bit smaller or a little, yeah.
Or do we even know our sizes? I went to a shop the other day.
Yeah, another one is that I am super bendy. Well, I'm sitting at the floor actually, cross-legged right now. So, and I can do the splits and all that. That's another thing that people are like, but like, just because you're what you call plus size doesn't mean you're not bendy.
Completely.
There's so much misconceptions, I think, around if you're a plus size, that must mean blah, da, da, da,
And
whatever that da, da, da is.
what I love about you is the confidence that you exude. And I think oftentimes what you said, like working in the sex industry or, coaching, there's a fine line between being a coach, a therapist, and working in one of these industries because they kind of like bleed into each other. And I'm not saying that you have to have sex with people when you're a therapist or when you're a coach, not at all. But I'm just saying
I do think lived experience is not the same as being a coach or a therapist. Because unless you've lived something, you can't get a book about my life and know what I know.
completely.
Or your life or anybody's life, not just my life, anybody's life.
So the beauty of where I see you going with this dark luxury, and I know that you help people with their branding and these incredible photo shoots.
Random woman, I don't know her. She said, I've just got to tell you that you absolutely are Lilith. And I thought, this is hilarious. Because in my dream, I mean, I come from a tradition as well. I'm not just Turkish. I've also come from the Tenguism, which is a shamanic tradition. And I connect with Lilith. I channel most of my stuff in my dream space. I'm a person who wakes up back. I don't really sleep at night. I'm very busy. Like I have a book full of stuff. And I channel Lilith in my dream space, which is hilarious. And this woman, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That the people are actually seeing that. Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful, right? That she actually,
I do think it scares some people, but it only it scares or triggers, however you want to, but that's because they don't want to see or don't want to look at that within them. So we know what that is. And actually, it's sexy, it's hot, and you'll feel even more confident when you go there.
and it's so interesting, right? Because the polarity, right? And the world of duality is like, if you just turn the blind eye to any of the darkness that we have or any of our shadows, that's going to bite you in the ass at one point. And when you can actually play in both those realms, that's when it starts getting.
I think a lot of the light stuff, or I'm a light worker, is very spiritual bypassing, and we've all got to stay high vibe. I've sat in a lot of darkness. I was also gaslighted for my gifts. I ended up in a mental hospital on and off for 20 years. That's why I became really why I was a sex worker for so long, because I was psychic and I was being classed as mentally ill, which if you look at they're both the same sign. So how do we know? We don't. Actually come to the conclusion, a lot of people on those wards, because I was on those wards, that are actually being gaslighted to say they've got an illness. Have they? I'd love to do research over, because I doubt that they all actually mentally ill.
It's interesting, right? Because I'm of the same opinion as
Yeah.
that probably we can either be open in that we receive the messages or not. And oftentimes we see, kids are often, are just completely open sponges up to the certain age.
I had gifts from 4, 5, 6. We're told like we're mad. So something you put your feet in the real world, but actually shamans believe, but it comes from that culture as well. That there isn't much difference between a shaman and a mad person. The only difference is a shaman knows how to deal with it and to move through it and to live with it. In the West, we're just medicating, and that isn't the answer.
I completely agree with you.
At one point, I mean, the real turning point in my life is I was on 28 tablets a day. I was 50 stone in weight, not because I'd eaten a lot, because the medication makes you put on weight.
Yeah.
And I was being falsely told if I'm not, they would be, you know what I mean? And I thought, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore. And the course then, then I walked away. But of course, then I was on my own with all these gifts, have no idea what I'm going to do with them. And that was a really dark year. I moved from one part of the UK to south to the north. I went to near, I don't know if you know, Barrow and Furness. It's like near Scotland. I used to sit on the beach and I used to talk my stuff to myself, talk it out. And that's how I really started to heal myself, talking it out, like Gestalt therapy. You know what I mean? Like you play one part, they play, I was doing that with myself.
And it's beautiful what you say because our voice actually holds codes. So
Right.
you and me speaking, someone will pick up on this and then they won't have to go through certain things because it just lands into their body and then it's you know, revibrates in them and will just regenerate some parts of them. And you speaking out your emotions, your thoughts is so important because we've been taught to just hush up, not say anything about it. And that's why there's so much disease.
What it really deterred me, the truth is that what it deterred me into this little white girl who married this little white boy. And, it was all like, and then I turned into a teenager and I was dating black guys and like, they didn't like it. And so I couldn't be myself. I thought, I need to be authentic. I don't care if I have to live on the street. I am leaving this. I ain't doing this. And I decided, that's when I decided I'd rather be on the street. Oh, and I was homeless for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
It was worth it.
What a story. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking like, whew.
I had freedom to be myself, to wake up to what I want. I had freedom to think my own thoughts and not being told what I could think.
And that's so true. And especially at the moment, what's happening in the world where the freedom of speech seems to be disappearing a little bit. Where, we get picked up from the streets just
Right.
for a post we may have posted on social media or something that we said. Or here in the UK at the moment, if people start getting offended by something you say, that might be a crime soon.
And I've won 3 cases of freedom of speech.
Amazing.
And their lawyers were like, "No, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna." I'm like, "We're gonna win. Hold the tension. Hold." Both cases went on for about 2.5 years, and they walked away scot free. And I was like,
Bravo.
because it's we can use all sorts of things to change our life, not just what I would say traditional things. There's magic. There's also people think it's not true, but it is. You're only manipulating energy and moving. We don't need to anymore use the traditional ways of always getting things we want.
It's already there. It's just maybe a different timeline.
Right.
Beautiful. So tell me, how did you switch and come across AI images and videos?
Okay. So the story actually is I did intuitive branding for a while, and I had a bad experience with a client. When I say that, she because I'm like loud as with my branding, and like I love your banner. She wrote about this yesterday on my Facebook. I love your intuitive. I want to be loud. So she paid me in full like that, no issue. So I said I'm going to hand off the stuff to you. She like the whole way through. She was messaging me on voice. Oh, I love it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. And then I said, I'm going to hand this stuff off. And then she said, I'm actually not very happy. Actually, I'm not spiritual anymore, really. And I'm really plain. I was like, and I think she's got fear started to take over. She
Mhm.
didn't ask for, she didn't ask for money, but I'm going to be transparent, beat myself up internally for about 2.5 years. And then I decided this week, I need to let it go. This is ridiculous. This is about her. We don't know what's going on in her life. She obviously had fear, and that is not my problem in the end. And I know I'm amazing at what I do. So actually, this hasn't, it's not new, that it isn't a new thing, but I've regained my confidence. Probably is what I've done.
The thing is, I've worked with a branding expert, or I've worked with someone that helped me make my first website, and I used to be an interior decorator, so I'm very in tune with what I like and how I like.
Oh my God, I've done that as well. I've done all the training for that as well.
Right, so we've all done, so, and when we like clothes and very sensual, and you
Yes,
can feel good, like
yes,
satins and velvet. So it's like, so you're describing what it should feel like, not so much what it needs to look like, but the emotion that it gets. And a
yeah.
lot of branding experts don't get that. And I'm like, for me, that just kind of felt like a bit of a disconnect.
3-color bullshit. Fuck 3-color. Nobody is 3-sided. We have multi-facets. We want to be gold tomorrow. We want to be red, pink, and gold tomorrow. We want to be silver and black and gold. Like, I don't do that. Like, no, it's like, and bringing like the symbols and really allowing people to feel the energy. Because when I do like photos, it's like allowing people to feel it. It's not just branding. Anybody can do branding, but like really allowing someone to feel something.
So tell me a little bit, how do you take people through this process? If someone says, "Oh my God, there's
Really, I'm a channel, so I'm a channel,
get
and to really, I just get on a call with them because I can feel it, so I can feel, and then we really together we're gonna like I craft with them what makes them absolutely one of one because I'm about making the brand and the person a masterpiece, so they become art itself. They become the art. I'm not the artist. They become the art.
oh, that is a unique selling point."
They
I'm
become
also
the art.
looking
It's
at it with
dark
my
luxury.
marketing, but I'm like, wow.
It's dark luxuries. It's about making you stand the fuck out in embodiment, not just because everybody can have a really like dramatic photo, but can you actually show up like that and keep showing up like that and keep showing up like that and keep in your embodiment?
And beautiful. So we're taking this towards embodiment and your
And
client.
it's about, allowing people to feel your brilliance, not just saying like, I'm a channel, I'm a writer, I'm a coach.
So how do you feel? And I know that you've had this experience with this client where you've held on to kind of like, it's not even blame, but thinking like, oh, maybe I should have listened to myself a little bit more.
What not I beat myself up because of following. When I was on the call, like there's a certain vibe with a woman who wants to stand the fuck out, and there's a certain vibe that she was really conservative. Like I can't help but say, but yeah, this is my stuff here, probably got in the way as well. Like I don't want to judge anyone by the way they look, but probably I should have. Next time I would always say, "Are you sure?" Because blah 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 blah. Because it was just she was very conservative, and really I should have questioned that.
So now when people want to sign up with you, can they just purchase a link? And is there ever a time that you say, no, I don't think we're a good fit? Or
Yeah, there will be, yeah.
no,
I'm gonna take your stuff, I'm gonna create it. I create you, it's called Rich Rich Brand, but I create you literally a whole year's stuff for your creative that you can share online and share you get a whole year's stuff, and I do it intuitively. I also have like a Voxer chat with you so you can ask questions, and if you're not happy,
do you feel that people become more embodied with working with you and by going through this process of becoming the artist?
can feel it. So when they open their mouth, usually it just confirms what I know. So yes, I'm really good at holding space as well.
Mhm.
And like this literally put a mirror up and saying, are you really that? Or are you really this much more? Are you really this more? Or are you really 9 steps more? Because people always want to play down. And we're told as women, we should do this and we should do that. We should be nice and we should be kind. And we should be, I mean, a lot of times I've been told in business, you should be relatable and people should. No, if you don't get me, that's your problem. We have to be our truth. And that's challenging for women.
It is challenging for people.
I'm a rebel, and the whole of my life, I'm an Aquarius, so like we see out the side of the box, we just can't help it. But we're also, all my life I've been told, oh, you're a rebel. I'm a rebel of challenging the system, and I believe that we have a right to be something unique, and we don't have to be doing what everyone else is doing and wearing the colours to everyone and the outfits. But will most women dare to be their truth? And I stand for that.
I love it. Stand for that. It's the perfect thing to really like be as loud as you can be
Right.
or be as authentic as you.
And I have struggled, I still struggle because I think because I'm an Aquarius. Some of it is like, we are ostracized sometimes. I have been thrown out of groups. I've had all that. But in the end, I'm not going to become small because of that.
Now I have to laugh at it because I kind of help people with sexual trauma, and that's been one of my passions. But also, I coach a lot of coaches and therapists and how to be more visible. And this podcast had, I don't know, 500,000 downloads within the first year. So like, whoa, okay, that's a little bit too visible. And now I'm talking to my kids, and I have cards, and all my branding was really dark and gold, and this is my candles. Yeah, that's what. And there was like BDSM and ropes and snakes and stuff.
Uh,
And the thing is, when I went to the Middle East and I started doing workshops, and then that is not what sells. What they want to see is workshops, not retreats where they actually retreat and luxuriate. It's like, no, no, we need to be seen as working on ourselves, and it needs to be in the health and the wellness space. But the sexuality space is a little bit too taboo, so we can't go in there. So it's interesting how sometimes you have to adjust a little bit
Yeah, you
your
do.
way
Yeah.
in.
Depends on your audience. Yeah, of
And
course.
I talk about touch that lands because sometimes it's just you're just talking way past their hearing. They just don't really understand. Now, I think one of the things with AI, which is a beautiful thing, is that you're giving people confidence to step into their full totality of who they are.
What I'm seeing, confidence, healing, feeling powerful. Just the images makes them feel powerful,
Mhm.
which is fantastic for me. Because actually, if images make you feel powerful, why not?
But this is the true thing is also is like for some people we are, yeah, like I've gone through an illness the last few months and I haven't felt like, I've lost a lot of weight. I've like my muscles have kind of like gone. So I just didn't feel so good posting my own pictures online. And I played with AI and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
And I practice it every day.
What we do hear from people saying, oh, but it's so fake. That's not you.
But it's only fake if somebody's making you look fake.
I mean, I still have my wrinkles and my my
I
lines.
have wrinkles.
I know, but I know my AI pictures as
Yeah.
well.
Some people say, well, if you allow people to be thinner or you allow people to have totally smooth face, if that makes a person feel better, why not?
And if we think about photo shoots, I mean, we put on makeup, we put on different clothes, or even on
With this, you don't have to go to the location. Because I did a post a couple of weeks ago. It's like, imagine going to a location. You get to the location, you didn't sleep all night. You booked a makeup artist. The last thing you want is somebody sticking their camera in there. Like, but this, you just send a few pictures and we can create you the photo shoots. So easy.
I think it's great. So I've done quite a few boudoir shoots and liked it, and also especially when my body was changing and when I was much bigger as well, because it really empowered. Maybe we can collab together. It's always super cool thing doing things like that. But it's a way, especially also for people in the Middle East, you'll know, and in Turkey and in East Asia as well. People can be a bit more shy, but they would love to have a picture like that.
I think that especially, the Middle East and those places, definitely, I could see AI taking off more because they haven't got to do the makeup. They not, don't have to actually be in the front of the camera.
They don't have to be in front of the camera. They can see what it might look
Yes.
like and how empowering it already feels to just look at that image.
Now, of course, we're never going to create something people don't want, but I will always try and push the envelope and push them to push their own envelope to step into the next version or two versions more because that's the truth. And we're so often not allowing people to see the whole of who we are.
This has been a delight. Let our listeners know how they can find you, how they can work with you.
You can find me on Facebook. I have a Rich Bitch rebrand, which is an 8-week container, or you can work with me on a month to month, and I do everything for you every month so that you have enough for your social media. And that's the two ways you can work with me. And I hold space and a container so we can chat if you're not happy, and you can step into your next level.
I love that. And what's your Facebook handle?
Sevda Hussein.
It will all be in the show notes with a link to your Facebook profile. Now, and I know that you also channel.
I can channel, yeah.
Beautiful.
And I'm into divination, but I don't necessarily offer that necessarily if somebody came out. So, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you could help people maybe even like create their own poems or voiceovers.
I do so many different things. I mean, I've also, published 2 books, and I'm writing another one right now.
There you go. Multi-talented. You are definitely a manifesting generator in human design.